Hey YouTube, this is Randy. Getting around to finally doing my first taste test of my first beer video. I did a kit back in late April of this year. It was a True Brew Bavarian Hefeweizen. Left it in the primary for about 5 to 7 days. I did transfer it to a secondary. Left it in there for about another week, and then after that point, when I thought it was ready, I put it into one of my kegs and applied CO2. In the past, I usually, when I did the Cooper's kits, I never made any videos of that, but I always did like a set and forget method where I would just apply so much CO2 based on the carb chart that most of you are familiar with. And I would set it there usually after about 7 days or so, then the beer was ready to go. I've been since then doing kind of a new practice where I basically crank up the CO2 to about 30 psi for 36 hours. And that is assuming that the beer is already set one night in the keg and chilled overnight. If you put it in and apply the CO2 right away at that point when the beer has not been chilled, then I usually go for maybe 48 hours. But what I found is and from talking to folks on the homebrew forums, this seems to work really well. So I hit it with 30 psi, chilled beer, because the CO2 absorbs better. Hit it for 36 hours, and then after that point, I come back and I cut the CO2 off from the main gauge. I release the pressure, and then I put it to my serving pressure, and I put it on about, I think this is sitting at about 10 or 11 psi, and that works perfect, and the beer is fine. It does seem to get a little better with more days, but it is ready to drink right after that. So anyway, with that said, I'll go ahead and I'm going to adjust the camera and do a pour, then we'll do a taste test, and following that, the video, you can actually watch the video of me making this. So cheers 17, and we'll be right back. Okay, here we go. I got a chilled glass here. We'll see what happens. Oh yeah, that's a lot of foam. That's good. That's going to settle down. Hopefully you can see that. I'm kind of zoomed in on the camera here, but boy, that's a nice thick kind of meringue head, and the color, I'm just trying to hold, nice copper, kind of coppery color, not too light, not too dark, right in the middle. I'll try to change the camera angle here in a minute and show you that. And I have some nice carbonation bubbles coming up, just the right amount. So here in a second, we'll adjust the camera and we'll take a taste test. Okay, thanks, I'm back. I moved my camera over to my brewing area. You can probably see I've got a beer brewing there right now. That is my next one. That is a summer ale, I think is what it's called, summer ale. And got my wort chiller there, but on to better things here. This is the True Brew Whiteley Series Bavarian Hefeweizen. So it's by True Brew, and I didn't take a gravity reading on this one, but the instructions say beginning gravity is usually around 1.045 or 1.049. Final gravity 1.008 to 1.012. Hop bittering units 5. So anyway, Hefeweizen. So like Hefeweizens, we'll see what. And as you can see, the head's going down, and there's some good lacing there. So let's give this a try. It's got some good on the nose. It's good. I don't know how to describe it. I mean, it's not overbearing, but it's fresh, and you can smell the aroma there. that's good. It's amazing, you know, like I mentioned earlier that I use the set and forget method, usually where I put the beer in my keg, apply it to serving pressure, and just let it set for 7, 10 days, whatever it takes. And ultimately, you get great beer when you do that. But I tell you what, this new method that I've been reading about on homebrew.com and those other forums, there's a lot of folks that are going to this method. That's a good beer. I don't do the roll method. I don't do the shake method. I basically, after I transfer my beer into my keg, I chill the beer overnight in my keezer for one night, 24 hours basically. I think that's set at 38 degrees, and then the next day I hit the beer with 30 psi for 36 hours. Following the 36 hours, release the pressure, cut off the line, release the pressure, and then adjust my dial to serving pressure for whatever beer I'm making, and that's it. And then it's you can drink it basically right then and there, and I honestly cannot taste the difference, or I don't know how this could be any better. And there's just a little bit of hoppiness, a mild hoppiness there on the tongue at the end of the after you swallow. This is just great. I didn't bring a flashlight. I don't have my smartphone, but I don't know if you can see the color of that. It's just, and I didn't even clear this. You know, a lot of people are putting gelatin and clearing their beer. I mean, I think if you're patient, I think a lot of people get worried and they maybe take it out of the fermenters too early or the secondary too early. It's not going to hurt your beer to set a little longer than you think. And I'm sure this is going to get even better tasting. Excuse me. That's a good sign. Look at the lacing. The lacing is great. So anyway, True Brew, not a bad kit. I think I purchased it for around $30, maybe $32 at a local brew store here in Des Moines, Iowa. And it really didn't have a lot of ingredients to it. It had some unhopped wheat malt extract, 2 cans. It had Liberty hop pellets, 2 ounces. It had some Fermentus WBO6 Hefeweizen yeast, 1 packet or sachet. Some priming sugar, which is for bottling. I didn't bottle it, so that's it. I mean, that's all that was in that kit. So nothing fancy, but if I tell you, that's good beer. Oh man. Anyway, my next kit that I'm going to be doing is a summer ale from Brewer's Best, and that's already brewing, as you can see. It's in the fermenter, and then following that, I think I'm going to probably do another Brewer's Best kit down the road. That'll probably be a month or so away yet, because I got 2 beers now going, and right now I have 2 Cornelius kegs in there, so that'll last me a little while. But I think the next one will probably be maybe a Kolsch or maybe a dark. I don't know yet. So, but until then, I want to put a little plug out there for Craig Tube, Maniac, Emo, everybody. 17. You know who you guys are. 17. If you follow any of those guys or follow their Justin TV channels, that's why I got back into this hobby. I brewed many years ago and then kind of got out of it. I started doing the Cooper's kits a few years ago, thanks to Craig. Craig, appreciate it. And so I'm going to do a few videos here now. So I really like the Brewer's Best kits. I'm not going to give up on Cooper's. I like Cooper's, but we'll see. Anyway, cheers, 17, and we'll see you on future videos.